upwards as, ladies and gentlemen, we charter into the rainforest of Sandhawk as, Johnny, he's going to be taking a little bit of a break over here, quite tired from these long, matches of cars, as I'm going to be joined by our sweet Shadow. And Shadow, you've been watching the matches from the sidelines. How have things been going so far?
Oh, for 4MV, first of all, thank you so much, Fixers, for the lovely introduction and about the things going so far for the players of 4MV. They are having a fantastic run, and seems like 4MV, they have recovered from the league plays because now they have got 2 back-to-back chicken dinners. Even the players of high voltage DC, they are faring out so well. They are so consistent. And in this game, if we again see a Pmpl for circle, maybe this can be a chicken dinner for the players of high voltage DC. If not chicken dinner, at least a very good gameplay that is going to help them in maybe propelling up in the ladder or maybe toppling over the plus of 4ME in the overall standings. But for now, 7th Element are also in the close vicinity, and high voltage, they're very well aware of it. High voltage DC, they have been on the receiving end of those drop collisions since the start of Pmpl South Asia. On the other hand, talking about Painan, we have the players of 4MB, but the question is where the 4 circle is going to be, and looks like the players of DRS not having the best of the time, but it was Quantum Rage, I think. They get the first blood, and DRS Delta, so far away from his teammates, has already been dealt with, and this time again we have complete Western Circle. It can either be a Ruin Circle or maybe a Pmpl for Circle.
I don't know why. Why are the teams adamant on picking up a fight against Starboard right from the start of the game? We all know what fate awaits them, but right now, high voltage DC got in a little bit of a pickle over here as 7th Element. They just are swarming around Malik. At this point, I'm kind of starting to wonder if they're aware of his position. One good thing 7th Element they're doing is they're kind of pushing in tandem. They're kind of sticking to each other. So let's say even if one of the players gets dealt with, the other is there to get the trade-offs, as Malik just gets readied up, coiled up, ready to strike. But seems like 7th Elements, they're showing no interest in going after him. Could have been a freebie, but they let him pass. And now, maybe they might just get punished, because now, as you can see on the minimap, Praveen was just trying to poke them, kind of draw their attention, while Malik is slowly slithering his way around Ashraf.
Oh, Divine, poor Divine, just a tree trunk to the cover and onto Praveen. But Divine, he has a good position, he has a height advantage as well, and now high voltage DC Praveen needs to be a bit careful. One wrong peek, one glimpse, and Divine with the M416 is ready to take his head off. At the same time, that split that is coming from the side of high voltage DC, agree they do have backup to each other, set up a good crossfire, but if a knock comes in, even for the plus of 7th Element, if a knock comes onto Divine, I don't think there is any chance of a revival coming in anytime soon.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, high voltage DC, I do not know what forced them into this situation, but let's just say that this is how Sandhawk is, right? And considering the fact that Praveen has finally started to make his way back to his teammates, instantly halted at his position, thankfully does have a first aid to work along with, but still that's not good news, right? 7th Element, they need to get a few more angles, as Leo Esports, they're finally dealt with by the boys from Regicide, as they get those 4 finishes to their name. I'm starting to wonder what really happened over here. But regardless, Leo Esports not having the best of starts today.
Oh, certainly. Leo Esports, well, they were suffering in the league plays as well. Leo Esports were not having the best of the time, and IHC, I'm so surprised to see this name getting an early elimination, because IHC, well, in the spring season, they were looking so very consistent, so very good, but now they have been taken out pretty early in the game on the 15th spot with no points at all. On the other side, Maptex Esports, well, now they are on the receiving end, but Cloud right in the crosshairs of T24 OP, but I don't think T24 OP is having the right weaponry in his hands to take shots onto Cloud, but high voltage Malik finds a perfect confirmation point onto Ashad over there in 7th Element. Well, they have been left with only 3 players. At the same time, Praveen is also down, so they need to go for the crucial rescue mission. That is not going to be easy because T24 OP is going for the confirmation point as well.
I mean, at this point, I can't really process what's going wrong with 7th Element. I mean, they had the entire situation under control, and despite that, high voltage DC, they're putting up quite a fight. And especially with that kind of a spread, this looks really awkward. For both these teams, the way they're engaging in, you kind of are very confused from where the shots are really going to come through. Because now Prabeen, despite the fact that he was knocked, has somehow managed to get back up on his feet. And at this point, T24 looks to be next in the list for high voltage DC, who are already flying high with that kind of a confidence, after they managed to get some decent eliminations. I think 15 plus and a chicken dinner at top of that. I think for high voltage DC, this was long time coming.
I love the position of Jiggle. He's getting so much information onto the players of 7th element where the players of remaining his teammates can capitalize on. But now high voltage DC, they do lack on those resources. Few players don't have the proper armor. Few don't have the healings. Prabeen, he needs to patch himself up as soon as possible. Maybe Malik can give him, but Malik is too far away from Prabeen right now. And Divine, there is no way that Divine can come and help T24 OP in this situation. So this is we also have to consider this is the home ground for the players of high voltage DC. They have been ruling the entire Camp Alpha Island since such a long time. They're aware of the nook and corner of every area of this island. At the same time, Jiggle right in the crosshairs of Tokosaurus. And finally, Tokosaurus looks like he has woken up from his slumber. At the same time, gave away his position as well.
He certainly has. Now, look at that Cloud. He's been knocked down, but Malik, he wants to go. He wants to fight over here. Has some support. I think his teammate, Prabeen, is over here. And there is going to be a point where they knock on the doors of T24. Is he ready for that? Is he ready for the action? Because Jiggle is trying to provide the quintessential cover fire as T24 deals with one, already finishing him off. But Malik, a little too late in providing that essential assistance. Fails in saving Praveen. As a matter of fact, now Cloud is definitely going to get back on his feet. But high voltage, now these trades are not looking nice, as Divine wanted to take some revenge. But like I said, Jiggle was all the way top of the hills, and having that nice crown for himself certainly enabled him. But Tokusaurus, they talk about him, Shadow. He was the one who was making those sly movements. Now Jiggle is aware with that grenade being lobbed over at his direction. Now has that TPP advantage, and Tokusaurus instantly realizes, regrets his decision, and turns around.
Oh, he has to fight for the position points because he was giving sound cues on the other side. Jiggle was not giving any sort of sound cue, and he was ready for Tokosaurus, but made the mistake as well, showing the back to the enemy. Jiggle is going to definitely capitalize, and with that 7th element, after getting a single elimination point, they have been wiped out from the map of Senok. Now 13 teams still remaining, and this time the circle is a bit confusing. It can go either ways, towards the ruins area or maybe towards the Camp Alpha Island. If it goes towards north, high voltage GC, they are in the prime spot to get a winner chicken dinner maybe for themselves, but looks like someone else has knocked on the doors of high voltage, and it is none other than Magnus Esports. And Magnus, well, they are not having the best of the time today.
And it's not just them, right? Even Stalwart looked to be around the corner. Could see them around that mini-map, but they'll also have to make their way in. Quite understandable. I think this is again another Western Circle, a little hybrid this time, but high voltage DC, I think they've been amidst the action from minute one. the biggest opponents there were 7th element. I think most of their players were pretty much dealt with just one player surviving. High voltage DC, I kind of have questions if they have enough loot on them, because did not get to maneuver around a lot, did not get that looting time, constantly being under the heat from minute one. This is where Quantum Rage slowly creeped in on the players of Aegon I8. Now, Aegon I8, during the league stages of the SCC, we kind of saw them go off to a really good start. But after that, the fall was pretty much, evident. And then in those final days, they kind of redeemed themselves in the final 2 days. But for now, Aegon I8 have a lot to prove, especially them being the champions of Pmpl Pakistan. You would want to expect them to see them maybe around that top 4, top 5 position.
Even in the South Asia, they got back to back three chicken dinners. So definitely, that was a different diet. I'm sorry, I got confused. That was Illuminate Crew. And speaking of Illuminate
Correct.
Crew, NB Esports, they find a perfect knock onto Woofy. Seems like I'm cursing the teams, and Viper also goes down. But this has been a rivalry since a very long time between Illuminate Crew and NB Esports. They always likes to lock horns with each other. But look at the position of IQ. He's slowly crawling his way towards Goku, and Goku has no idea about the snake in such a close proximity. And Goku finally gets dealt with, gets taken down, and IQ might be looking for the confirmation point, but at the same time, he has to reposition himself because the remaining players will retaliate, and Senior definitely retaliates and takes the revenge, takes on IQ, leaving Blade all by himself.
I really do not understand the objective of this particular fight. They really need to understand. It's the second phase, it's nothing to worry about, but they have to get inside the circle. Now, trying to force out a fight kind of looks like a personal vendetta being taken around, but Blade just being the final member surviving. I think this is where Senior and Sparky need to get the hell out of that position, need to just get inside the circle, forget about Blade. He means no harm, he's done the damage, and this is where you need to cut your losses and run. But still, Quantum Rage, they're being quite adamant, and I do not know if this is the champion's mentality, if this is the kind of a play I would expect from a team like Quantum Rage, where they're kind of just going ham after Aegonite. But because look at them, they're somewhere situated around the cave area, while the circle has formed around the Western Islands, with Starward, Nirzet having the epicenter to himself, with so many of these teams just deciding to group up. Now, this is going to be really interesting. For Medical Vibes, how do they carve their way inside the circle and find a good spot to themselves? While the players of Starwood, look at them, action this time being so precise on his grenade, has managed to find finisher, and now he's gonna get some control over these compounds.
Well, Stalwart Esports, they have managed to defend these compounds up until now, but they are picking too many fights, and Magnus Esports taking down the players of Illuminate Crews. Debian was taken down, instant confirmation is also there, Nova X and Crew. Sky, well, he's burning, literally burning, but he needs to patch himself up as soon as possible. A blessing in disguise in the name of NB Esports is also joining the fray, and Magnus, well, they're going for the crucial rescue missions onto the fallen comrades. At the same time, Action with a grenade is looking to find some connection over there, and finally finds Zabyan, gets a confirmation point as well, and Magnus Esports, perfect grenades came from two different directions, from the side of Sky as well as Talbot Esports, and Magnus, well, they couldn't survive for very long, and now Sky is all by himself. At the same time, T2K looks like they are also inching closer, and these compounds, so many fights are going to happen over here.
It's now swarming with so many of these teams, right? Seems like the real estate prices have gone pretty high over here, as Jane lobs that grenade into perfection and finds Akaza down on his knees. Fistboy did not have the best of HP, still doesn't, but does manage to throw a counter grenade, just trying to shove off and keep Jane at bay. But Jane, at this point, he needs to make some quick movements. He understands the gravity of the situation, does have that DPS, and can wield that as he finally decides to march in, trying to do the impossible, trying to go against NB Esports. Seems like NB, they're out of first aids, they're out of healings, because Fistboy, he's not looking at healing himself up. This is where I'm kind of pushed into thinking if NB Esports have any loot at all.
I don't know if they have. If they don't have, they really need to find those resources, because still we have 12 teams and 30 players remaining. And T2K Esports, Jane, well, he realized that he's too far away from his teammates. He was overcommitting into that fight. He decides to regroup with his teammates. A good decision on his part. And T2K Esports, well, they already have 3 defeat points for themselves. At the same time, they have the northern control of the circle, and they find Jiggle over there. Reg with the grenade, and the M416 is trying to find Jiggle, and Jiggle, well, he's trying to scuttle back to the safety, trying to escape from the situation, but can he escape from those grenades that are coming towards his side? At the same time, the blue zone is also closing, and there's not enough real estate for him to find a safe cover, find a safe residency, or even take an outnumbered fight. He's pretty much done and dusted in this game. He has to patch himself, but the blue is going to give so much damage, and looks like he's going to go down by the blue.
Oh my goodness. It's a cat and mice chase, and seems like he's just given his life to the blue over there. like you said. But for T2K, I think I kind of like this sense of confidence, right? Just chasing off the enemies. Now have a lot of that northern ground cleared up as one more grenade from Jane. He seems like he's getting the job done and has been making lives hell for NB Esports. Haven't really had the best of start today. Previously, we saw Assassin dealing with the entirety of squad. Now T2K proving to be such a thorn. Young Boy and Fist Boy this time around, they found some medicines to administer. At this point, just kind of squandering out with their utils like that, just throwing it for no use, could just come to bite them back towards the end. Young Boy, few of his pixels are visible, and Jane for sure wants to go for those pre-nades out there. But now finally deciding to enter in as Young Boy gets picked off. And that sort of marks the end for NB Esports, as a little bit of assistance was also provided by Sky from Illuminate crew, who's kind of been alive there, who's still kicking and running, who's still getting so much done for his squad, but will finally bid adieu. And just with those 12 eliminations, Illuminate crew are out of this game.
Oh, well, they have been eliminated, but T2K, they have managed to grab a good compound for themselves. But I love what Stalwart Esports are doing. They're trying to mitigate all the threat in the close proximity. At the same time, they're not over-committing into any fight. They're not doing too many third parties. They're just sticking to the ground, holding on to the compound. On the other side, Maptex Esports looks like they have also been eliminated with good elimination points in their favor. But DRS, what is happening to the players of DRS? They used to rule the map of Senok, but this time only single elimination and only 2 players remaining. I wonder how they're going to survive or grab too many points for themselves, because in the overall standings also, I believe DRS, they are right on the bottom. This is something very shocking, and they are in the blue as well. But for now, T2K Esports, well, looks like they have spotted on the players of TUF right on the periphery of the circle. But the circle takes a shift, and now TUF, well, they have to migrate inside the circle. I wonder how they are going to do so.
Oh, Blade, he wasn't moving a muscle until the point. Kind of gets a little impatient there. Just runs after Killer, but finally gets dealt with. But for DRS, completely acceptable by their standards. They're not supposed to be there where they are right now. Need to redeem themselves and do that pretty quick, as Quantum Rage finally bidding adieu to the server at the 7th spot. So now, we can see majority of these teams, more than half of the lobby completely being wiped out. As Stalwart, I'm kind of really surprised to see them taking such a prime position. Even the likes of Medical Vibes, the entire Eastern Territory, they've taken it all by themselves, and now could kind of start spreading their players out a little bit, have a lot of that high ground advantage. Look at Doc's position, especially TUF's positioning. I kind of liked, but would have been better had they been inside the circle. So they have to make a move with Regicide right below them. You've got the players of DRS who might also want to come in, but one of their players has already been knocked out. So kind of the position has been revealed. I think Regicide making good work out of it, as Noki this time gets a better out of Demotivate. The moment TUF decide to come out of their hiding, get inside a good position, Regicide, they're already prepared to deal with them. And with Roshan cooking up this grenade, could be bad news for H2SO4.
Oh, TUF, how they're going to survive. The blue is also catching up, and Roshan with a perfect grenade gets a confirmation point onto Demotivate Sir and H2SO4. The sulfuric acid is not going to burn the players of Regicide, but rather he'll go down by the blue, and Regicide, being the wiser one, they are moving inside the circle. But action with a vehicle so close to the players of Regicide, he has to be the cautious one who could have been taken down. But TUF, well, they have been taken down and eliminated. But at the same time, Stalwart Esports position has been given away. But 4MV, look at the position. Yes, they do have 0 elimination points, but the circle is in their favor. They have the entire uphill control. And Regicide on the low ground, I think 4MV, now they can start capitalizing on those elimination points.
Honestly, Shadow, you've been doing a lot of these essay games, right? How much have Medical Vibes changed, haven't they? The way they've been playing. I mean, this is not the Medical Vibes that we've seen, but I really love. I think this was the only missing element in their play style. I think inculcating that, they have opened doors to maybe the championship this time around that they missed during the SA finals. But for now, Sour Esports in real close proximity to T2K. Chain and top, pretty much neighbors, but quite unwanted as Noki gets his hand on Doc. Now, this is quite interesting because Doc, he was one of those flankers. He had a different position to himself, and him getting knocked out over there like that, I think kind of exposes or rather makes for medical vibes a little vulnerable. Because Doc, for me, he was the contingency plan. If the circle had gone a little bit towards the east, as Suyok decides to get into the aid of his fallen teammate, Rick takes quite a heavy beating, but somehow he's still breathing.
Well, he's still breathing, and for MV, they have taken the entire control of the uphill area. They have so much information onto the players of T2K, Stalwart Esports. The minute the players are going to come out in the open, for MV will start capitalizing. And yes, I do agree. I was shocked. For a second, I was like, am I seeing it correct? 4MV with 0 finishes? Because they always like to capitalize on those elimination points. They never cared of the placement points, but now the stakes are higher. They're preparing themselves for the World Invitational. If they qualify, I think they can, but they are preparing themselves for that, and that is how they are playing right now. And finally, they have started opening things up. Get 1 defeat point onto the players of Regicide, and Roshan just having a tree trunk, not the best of the position. At the same time, East, the first glimpse comes in, and Roshan is going to miss so many bullets over there, and he survives. At the same time, the Doc is there. The Grenadier finally deals with Roshan over there, and now Regicide, only 1 player remaining.
Yeah, and for medical vibes, he is just barely making it inside the circle. Surely Refuse has been providing that cover fire, and Doc is back on his feet. Now, this is where we could see the 2 biggest Mongolian teams going up against each other pretty soon. With T2K still, trying to rise from the ashes over there, with majority of their players being taken down. As for medical vibes, deal death from the skies, as now Starward in a whole world of trouble, as the circle also does not favor them. Now, this is where I think Starwood and T2K, they will have to fight it out amongst each other, because the moment that smoke dissipates, the moment both these teams run out of the smokes, they will have to come out in the open. The moment they do that, for medical vibes will do what they've been doing, try to rein in death and destruction as those Grens also come in, and Starwood in a whole world of trouble out there. How are they gonna kind of escape from that situation, as T2K trying to come out in the open? They're also meeting the same fate, meeting their makers, that is for medical vibes, who are on a warpath at this point. They have been dealt with. The final players of T2K, they might be taking their breath, as Sandesh has been spotted out, and Apex knows exactly what to do over there.
And he finally lands the last blow onto Sandesh with a DBS and gets the winner chicken dinner for themselves. And 4MV with 3 winner chicken dinners fixes. Oh, this 4MV, I'm loving it.
This is absurd. This is mental. This should not be happening. You can understand the kind of a lead that this team is building up for themselves. Out of 4 games, we've had 3 chicken dinners and a top 3 position also for Miracle Vibes. This is quite impressive, even by their standards. We know this team was one of the forces to be reckoned with, but having fixed on their positioning issues, I think working wonders with that has enabled them to such a pinnacle, and from here on they go upwards. But this was all about the game. We're gonna talk more about this after a short